Hey everybody, it's Alisha Costanzo, and welcome back to my channel. It's been a little while since I've talked about books. Yard work's going on outside, so if you hear that shit, sorry. It happens. This is the time I have to record. So I wanted to do rather late the mid-year book freak out because it looked interesting and I've been liking everybody's answers, so here we go. This tag was created by, I'm gonna say their names wrong, Shammy and Ellie, I think. I will link them in the description box below, and yeah. Let's talk about question number 1. Best book you have read in 2020 so far. This is hard. I have a lot. So on my list is, that I can think of, first, probably the one I'm going to pick for my top one, is The Wicked King. And I actually have that right here. By Holly Black. Of the 3 in that series, it was my favorite. It riled me up the most. It made me the most angry, and I like that in a book. And I couldn't wait to get my hands on the next one. So, first one I really liked, the last one I really liked, but the middle one, it's like where all the meat happened that made me happy. Alright. Also, in that top list would be things like nonfiction, The Art of Asking by Amanda Palmer. Holy crap, that thing made me cry so many times. There's so much I loved about the story and learning about her and her journey that just, I mean, it was a 5-star read. Plus I had her music in it, which was awesome. Up there would also, I'm going to have that right here, Be Night, which is another nonfiction. I put off this book for so long, like almost 20 years I put off this book. And I'm glad I finally read it because holy shit. Holy shit. I suggest everybody read it. Holy shit. He's a master for a reason. I also really enjoyed, ooh, do I have that one over here too? Black Echo by Michael Connolly. I was surprised by how much I liked this book, so like I have book 2 waiting on my Kindle app for me to read, and I'm excited, and I have the next one after that on hold from the library. So definitely up there in my top 2020 reads. And then The Dream Thieves by Maggie Stiefvater, because, and that's the second book in the Raven Boys. The Raven Cycle. Totally loved all of them. 4 out of 5 of those were 5 stars, and the other one was like a 4.75 only because of some comma shit. So, and a few telling things. Okay. It's really hard to choose. But probably of those, it's just, it's my jam. So, alright, number 2. The best sequel you've read so far in 2020. In Dream Thieves. Wicked King and Dream Thieves. Both sequels. Love them both. Yes. Yes. Question number 3. New release you haven't read yet, but want to. Okay, well I've been hearing about this all over the place. It's really hard to avoid spoilers right now. My library has a 6-month wait for this book, and that is Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I watch The Hunger Games like 5 times a year because it's good background noise for me when I'm writing or grading and that type of thing. It has never been one of my grading movies, which is surprising. Yes, I have grading movies, like movies I'll watch 150 times a semester while I'm grading papers, like Pride and Prejudice, Pitch Perfect, Frozen. Divergent's in there too. I really like the first movie. I can't stand the rest of the series of movies because I actually liked the books. All of them. To different degrees, but still I liked all of them, and they fucked up the movies. So anyways, I would love to read that prequel. I just finished The Fairest by Marissa Meyer, which is like not a prequel but a side villain story to the Cinder series, the Lunar Chronicles, and I mean, I enjoyed most of it. There were parts where I'm like, was talking ahead of the narrator to fill in the blanks of things that were happening, and I'm like, yeah, I've written my own kind of bad guy coming up story, so like, and I've seen it a few times. I got what was going on, but it was still well done and it fit with the world really well. So anyways, I think I'll enjoy it because I really like violence and bad guys. So yeah. 4. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year, and again, all over the place. Midnight Sun. Now, Twilight and I have this relationship. I was not young when Twilight came out. I was like a 3rd-year senior in college. I spent 7 years as an undergrad. I got 2 degrees, an associate's degree, and like 4 minors because I just could not figure my shit out. I changed majors 5 times. I have a lot of background information on a lot of things, though, because of this, which has helped me out quite a bit in both business and teaching and making connections between things. I read Twilight when I was 23, which is still 12 years ago. Oh my god. When I first started dating my husband, I got the book because we both like vampires for us to read together on the weekends or when we were away from each other, and I could read to him, etc. over the phone. That's not what happened. I read the first few chapters of him over the phone and then I couldn't put it down. The first book. I read the rest of them over a weekend. They were really easy to read, and there's reasons for that with style and all these other things. But what intrigued me about Twilight, even though she says it's something else, is that I see, now again, my geek button is vampires and culture and religion. Very clearly has Mormon shit in Twilight in the series, and I wrote about this in my paper that I presented. Mormon angels, sparkle, mate for life, and are hard as rock. Hello, vampires. There are so many connections that I loved making with that book in that series. And The Brief Second Life of Bree Tanner was a great mimic of one of Hemingway's stories. And I loved some of the differences that she tried to make up for the kind of stuff that she put in the first 4 books. And that is like when they walk out in the sun, they're supposed to sparkle so brightly that they look like they're on fire. All the different powers that they had. I liked those types of things. So as bad as the romance and some of the writing style and things were in her books, she did some really fun things for vampire literature and vampires as characters and the different types of powers they had and those things. So I have to give her props for that. I do want to read Midnight Sun. Yep. Vampire dork over. Number 5, my biggest disappointment. There's been a few, but I guess the one that I was most excited to get to and then was so upset about actually reading it and not liking it was Born of Water by, I think it's A.L. Noor. Put the thing up here, you know how this works by now. And the cover is beautiful. The blurb was nice, and I couldn't get past chapter 2. It was awful. There was just so much telling and cliche bullshit characterization. It was bad. And maybe it got better. I don't know. I couldn't get there because it was bad. It was bad. I'm sorry. It was bad. Okay. 6, biggest surprise. That was The Art of Asking. I clicked on it because, one, I've taught her TED Talk every single year that I've taught for the last 8 years because, one, it is a great example of how to give a presentation. And I love that she talked about how nervous she was and how self-conscious she was about it, especially since she went over and those types of things. But like the way she was able to connect things through her TED Talk showed in her book, in her audiobook. That's how I experienced it. And like I went in thinking this is just gonna take up some of my time. I don't have another audiobook that I want to listen to. Maybe I'll learn a few things about marketing, and it completely broke my heart. So yeah. Surprise. Okay. Number 7. Favorite new author, either debut or new to me, and that is going to be Holly Black. I have talked about this a few times. Even though I've read the whole series of that, and I've read the whole series of The Raven Cycle, which I'm pretty sure Maggie is going to be one of my new favorite authors too, I have tried another series, and I'm going to read the second in that series, which is The Curse Workers by Holly Black, this month. And so, because I've given her good ratings, now I don't know if I gave the first book in that series a 5, but at least a 4.5. Totally love Holly Black. Totally love Maggie Stiefvater. Totally love Gal Carriger, who's also new to me this year. And I'm going to be reading the first in her other series this month as well. So she might be also a new favorite author. Yeah. I try to make sure I read more than just one series by somebody, unless that's all they have, to signify whether or not they are a new favorite author of mine. Number 9, newest fictional crush. I've talked about this a lot, and it's the same theme you're going to notice of things that I've been talking about so far, and that's Ronan Lynch. First of all, my best friend's last name, she married into a Lynch family, so like that I love. Ronan and his general demeanor reminds me of my husband so much, and I don't even care that he's gay. Spoiler, sorry. I have a total crush on him. He's adorable. I love characters like him. So, yes. but Bosch. Oh, I love a renegade cop who battles other cops who are doing shit wrong, and like the idea that everybody matters and nobody matters. Like I love that in that type of character, and that's exactly what Bosch is. And yes, totally. I mean, but to be fair, I've known about Bosch for much longer than this year. I've only just read the books this year, or the first book this year, so I don't know. We'll stay with Ronan. Stay with Ronan. 9. Newest favorite character. Okay, well, we can make that one Bosch then. Although, still not quite like... Newest favorite character. Have I read anything else that I really, really liked the character of? Ooh, you know who I also liked a lot? B.B. Easton, Praying for Rain, the apocalyptic story that I had. I really liked Wes in that. Actually, Wes is kind of influencing my Midnight right now that I'm writing, because he's tatted up. He's worked out to, you know, like pop those muscles to make the ladies go crazy, and he's got a bad attitude because he's been hurt a lot. Granted, now that's not Midnight, but that is definitely Wes, and again, I like that asshole, been hurt type of character. So maybe not even as a crush. Like I could pick a girl. And of course I can have a crush on a girl, and that's absolutely fine because that happens too. But for some reason, male characters I connect with more. Wonder why that is. Huh. Well, we're not gonna have an existential crisis right here, right now. So I'm gonna move on, and I'm gonna stick with my original answer, which was Bosch. See previous question for reasons why. And Wes. We'll have a twofer. 10. A book that made you cry. Big time. Like, I knew it was coming, whereas the other book made me cry was The Art of Asking, and like, although I didn't know it was coming, it happened a few times. This one I knew was coming, and it still just tore out my heart. Just tore out my heart. Such a short book and so many feels. It just... Question 11. A book that made you happy. And that would be Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. I have never been more happy about what a book did with the end of a series than I was with that one. I have read a lot of series. I've read a lot of disappointing things in a series. And granted, I could predict some of the things that happened in it, like I should, it's young adult. But it still was able to surprise me enough and still give me what I wanted, yet not give me what I wanted completely. It just made me happy. It did not break my heart, which was nice. I love books that break my heart. I love books that make me happy too, but I like it when they break my heart before they make me happy. Like, make me believe that I'm absolutely, like, there's no hope. Okay, maybe there's a sprinkling of hope. It's a little long shot. And then they still give me what I want in a believable way. Yes, I liked that series. So, yeah. Okay, Queen of Nothing. Question number 13. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? I have a 20 by 2020 spread. Let me see. 20 by 2020 spread. And some of the things that I have on this is The Host by Stephanie Meyer, because my husband read it and I've never read it, and he says I like it, so that's one of the things I would like to read. The Adventure of Sherlock Holmes I would like to read, because I love all the Sherlock stuff on TV and movies. I should really, obviously in adaptations and retellings because I've read them on the channel, I really need to read the original Sherlock Holmes. What else do I have on here? Thirst 1 and 2, which I finally got in the mail. The Chaos, and that's Christopher Pike. The Chaos of Stars by Kristen White. Thunderhead by Neil Shusterman. The Way of Shadows by Brent Weeks. Moon Called by Patricia Briggs. Half Wild by Sally Green. Wilder Girls by Rory Power. Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. And A Thorn for Sisters by Morgan Rice are the ones I have on my list. I have another spread in. I have 2 book journals. Don't judge me. 3. I'll just cut this part out. Just cut this part out. And Editor Me will probably flip me off for this. So, yeah. That was number 13, and I skipped number 12. So Editor Me is going to have to push this over. So, book that has the prettiest cover that I bought this year. I've only bought 4 books. If you, like, I'm not including free ones because I don't consider that, like, buying books. I'm getting books for free. Like, people are giving me shit. And I don't count the library books. So I've only bought 4 books. Thunderhead, Wicked King, and Thirst 1 and 2. So guess who wins? This is a pretty ass cover. It's actually why I picked it up. I hadn't even read the first book yet. I had it on my wait list, but I hadn't read it yet, and I didn't realize that this was a sequel. I bought it because it's pretty, and it's my favorite, one of my favorite colors, which is this blue-green shindig thing that's going on over there. Now we can do question number 13. Number 14, which I found 14 and 15 on Books and Lala and her channel, and that's where I copied these questions down. So this is her 14, which was favorite video or post that you've done so far this year. It is not a book post. It is actually one of my writing vlogs, I believe, and that was writing like Ursula K. Le Guin. I had a lot of fun with that one and playing with the editing and different type of screens and vlogging stuff, and I think my kitty's in it. So yeah, that's one of my favorites from this year. As for a post that I have, it would probably be the first poem that I wrote this year, which was a really, really dark poem about a kid essentially being murdered and buried in the woods, and this person finding the body and then somebody else being hanged for the crime who hadn't committed it, who was also a kid. Very dark. But I absolutely loved writing that. So, and I think that was back in March. I'll link it below if y'all want to read some of my dark shit. But that's the favorite post that I've written this year. And finally, 15, your favorite book community members. Obviously, I've mentioned Books on Lala. She's one of my favorites. I also really love, let's actually go to my YouTube so that I can pronounce people's shit right. I really like to watch Shanice Noel. She does a book bingo every month that I really enjoy. I love Drinking by My Shelf. I think she's hilarious. Where's my homegirl? Come on. I know her name's Casey. Ooh, I love Olivia's Catastrophe too, by the way. I am doing her Shakespeare readathon this month and enjoying it. I'm reading my retelling of Othello right now, and it's nice and it's short and it's like right spot on to a modernization of Othello. Like, good job. Olivia's Catastrophe is one of my girls. I like Paige Reads and Writes. She does a board game every month for her TBR, plus she does writing stuff, and I really have similar tastes than she does, and a similar sense of humor, and I like her attitude, and I just like her. So definitely Paige Reads and Writes. Lost in a Bookcase. I knew it was bookcase because KC is in the middle of it. So Lost in a Bookcase. She is funny as shit. She's adorable. She's an introvert, which I like. She likes very similar books that I do, and she does some really fun like skit things. I showed my husband her first skit, the first video she ever posted on YouTube, and we're both just giggling through the entire thing like, yep, exactly, yep, and we were having a conversation about reading the prologue like she did at the end of her video. And if you get a chance, like, she does some silly shit. You should really go, some innovative silly shit. You should go watch her channel if you get the chance. I love her. Okay, there's more, but those are a few of the people that I like to watch. Is there anything? And I'll link them, those guys, below, by the way. Alright, well, there's my mid-year book freakout tag. My reading so far, I have completed 49 books this year. My goal was 15. Last year I read like 1 to completion. I started 5 or 6, but I only finished 1 last year. I think I'm in a good spot. And I think my total goal for this year, what is my total goal of books for this year? Since I have my notebook and I can figure that out. I have a whole bunch of goals. 62 books this year. I think I'm gonna reach that without much problem. I have other goals like reading 5 books that I should have read by now, trying 15 books out of my comfort zone, finishing 10 series, creating a reading challenge, unhaul at least 30 books. That one's gonna be a challenge because I need to be able to actually get to my books to unhaul them, and that's part of that goal. To read 4 half-read books, so like I am getting things done, but I really need to get some more things done because I haven't been reading very much here recently. Anytime I try to read and focus or be analytical at all or edit, like the side of my face just starts throbbing and I don't know why. Alright, I've babbled long enough. Thank you for watching. Let me know what your answers to some of these questions are in the comments below. I'd love to know about you and your reading taste and the things that you like, because maybe I'll like them too. One of my new favorite series was suggested to me by somebody who reads my newsletter. So yes, give me suggestions. I'll see you next time.